How's it going, folks? Long time no chat. As you can see, Chook is looking for a bit of a snack. That is our little maggot bin. We did want to build a black soldier fly bin, but unfortunately the blowflies got there first, and the barrels that we wanted some of the 50-gallon plastic barrels with those bungs in the top to make a black soldier fly farm, but the local supplier is out of them at the moment. But I'll give you a bit of a closer look at this jobby. I spooked you off, did I, Chook? So if you folks have been following us since around about 2011, you may recognise this as being one of our original compost carboys. The tape is actually covering some holes. We had this as a barrel composter. There was 2 carboys set up and yeah, some holes drilled in them. Yeah, it did an okay job, not the best, but anyway, all these years later it's been turned into a maggot farm. So it's had the sides drilled out. Bianca drilled the sides out a little bit larger. It's sitting on bricks in a tray, and the tray has 2 holes, one there and one there, and that drains out all the moisture that lands in there from the bin and also from the rain. We've had a bit of rain. Now it's got the screw top cap. I don't know if you can make it out down there, but in the middle of the screen, we'll zoom in, hey? In the round about the middle of the screen, we've got a little maggot down in there and a couple of others around the side. But this bin is primarily for all our protein and bread and dairy scraps and bits and pieces like that the blowflies will like. The veggie scraps just pretty much all go into the chook pen for the chooks. And the idea, as I said before, was for black soldier fly larvae, but unfortunately we've got blowflies. But it does the jobs. The maggots find their way out of the holes. The chickens have a decent feed, so we're not too worried about that. Later on, once we get the other blue barrel, we'll make up a proper black soldier fly farm. Over the back there, started to clear this paddock out, trying to reclaim some bits and pieces and yeah, just get over the back there. We are looking at hiring an excavator, and we want to flatten out this area here, also use the excavator to drag that across, mainly because it'll be able to pick that up a little bit. The tractor with a 3-point hitch can't, so drag that across, and we've got some other bits and pieces we want moved. Oh, the little cutter head, I'm using that little flail style cutter head on the brush cutter, and it works a treat in there. I didn't get any video, I don't think, of it, unless Bianca took some. I'll ask her when she gets home on Tuesday. And did an absolutely fantastic job. And you might be able to work out, we have pumpkins. There's a couple of vines in there, and we've got a couple of half-decent fruit, so pretty stoked about that. We'll end up with another pumpkin harvest later on in the year. Just back to the chickens quickly. We did lose Chicky, the little black Australop, the other day. The original people got her in 2016, I think, so she's about 9 years old. And Jack is in the shade. It's not that hot, buddy. But anyway, we buried her between the trees. I was thinking about popping her into the maggot farm, but I just wasn't, I thought we'd bury her, give her a dignified burial, because she was more of a human to us than a chook, always sticking by us and wanting a bit of a scratch and wanting to come in the house. And yeah, this little boy here was rather fond of her. So we thought we'd give her a proper burial. Besides, we didn't want to pass on any chicken diseases, and yeah, maybe the next one will go into a black soldier fly farm. Other jobs, we still haven't moved those gardens yet. I've got something else that I want to put where I was going to put that, which I'll show you in a tick. The water pump still doesn't work, so I bought a replacement. I'll show you that. But when the excavator comes as well, we're going to be moving that tank next to the small shed, taking it out the back, moving these tanks up there and setting up a permanent pump station. It's my little project. I hopefully should get knocked off before Bianca gets back on Tuesday. But yeah, this is the little pump we got, just a little cheap jobby. I think they're about between 120 and 150, I think I paid for it. Comes in 2 separate lots, the controller and the pump, which are plugged in. So not really suitable for leaving out in the weather. So I need to go into town. Bianca and I were supposed to go today, except she was called away for work. She's got a meeting on Monday she had to stay down south for. So yeah, anyway, get a larger tote that we can put this whole thing in. A couple of quick release for the tap section and also the pump, the lines from the tank, and then we can just move this box in and out. It can stay outside in the weather for a little while, but yeah, something that we prefer to have not out in the weather all the time. Just a makeshift thing, pop it out there when we need it, because it's only for the garden water that comes from that tank. There is, strangely enough, no taps connected to the house. from either tanks, that one there or the drinking water tank. So yeah, a little bit strange, but anyway, we really do need some sort of hose attachment so we can, you know, worst case scenario firefight, but that's not really an issue right now. Just quickly, this aluminium box here I got from Dad. That will be the box the pump, the proper pump is set up in, not this one here, mainly because we have to drill holes in the side and that sort of thing, and I don't want to set it up for this pump that won't be permanent. And yeah, I'd rather just use one of these containers for now. Oh, and these plants have just been out here just getting a bit of rain. We've had fairly constant rain, probably about 15 mil every couple of days, which is just over half an inch. So yeah, pretty stoked about that, not having to run around with watering all the gardens. Just have to keep the chicken water fresh. On to this little jobby here. I did show that handful of the sand. I'm not making an IAVS. Those guys are very particular about if it's not done their way, it's not IAVS, which is basically integrated aquaculture vegetables or something like that. Been reading their book online. You can only read it online on their website. And there's a couple of ratios that they like. Your surface area of your fish tank is supposed to be 6 times smaller than the surface area of your grow area. Obviously this surface area of that fish tank is a lot greater than that. So yeah, in that respect, it won't be IAVS. Also too, it's not going to have fish in it. Frog in the throat. It's not going to have fish in it, probably frogs, knowing this place. It's going to be run as a bioponics, so it'll be just organic hydroponics. Fish emulsion, kelp seaweed, and maybe some raw water. So we'll see how we go with that. I don't know why I looked at Jack, but anyway. This is the sand I'm using. As you can see, some sections are rather coarse and rough. Other sections not so much. This is a bit of a deeper layer, I think, from memory, and it came out rather finer. And this is my screened results. IAVS dictate that the sand grains must be 0.4 of a millimetre up to 1.2 millimetre. The reason being is that that gives enough time for the water to actually flood the bed and then drain out slowly once the pump stops. And yeah, they require that it's a quartz base, just like aquaponics. If there's carbonates in there, it can throw your pH out, wreck the alkalinity and that sort of thing. So what I'm doing is 2 screens, one to get the larger bits out and then another to get the smaller medium-y bits out, and then left with that. So we'll see how that goes. And I did do the vinegar test with it when we first bought the place, and it turned out fine. And this is the silt test to make sure there's no clay or silt in there. And I mean, that's the debris there. That black line is the amount of silt and debris organics in there. So you can actually see over the back, it's just settled there at the front. So yeah, pretty happy with that. pH should be fine with it. There's no carbonates in there. So that's right to go. I just need to work out how I'm going to stop the sand going down the drain line. And I think what I'm going to do is have an elbow, I'll use this as an example, an elbow coming across there with a pipe with a whole heap of slits in it, with some shade cloth over the top, and that will stop any of the sand coming out. Actually be running from that hole across the front there. That hole will probably be plugged up because the inlet will come over the top and flow through 2 furrows that I'm probably going to put down the center area. I don't know how I'm going to set it out, but yeah, it's basically going to be flood and drained like an IAVS system. It's just all the sciencey parts of it. It won't be IAVS, and they're very, very, very specific about what you must do for it to be called one of their systems. So I'm doing a bioponic system. As for what will be going in there, pretty much all green onions and a few other bits and pieces that Bianca wants, just for the kitchen, just herbs and greens and things like that. The larger gardens will be coming later on. We're just going to the markets for the time being. I do have that wicking barrel down there that I want to set up this weekend as well. Other than that, I don't really want to take you through the house, but I've been unpacking lots of boxes. We've finally moved in, putting up shelves, sorting out my work stuff. Bianca's got 1 box left to unpack, which is all her books and bits and pieces from her screenwriting and playwriting. And yeah, we've almost unpacked the place. So pretty stoked about that. Somewhere nice and tidy for these guys to sit around the house when they're down here, just so they're not on the ground, and they've got places to live up in the shed. So yeah, it feels nice to have the place tidied. Went through last week and did a spring clean or autumn clean while Bianca was down in Brisbane at a couple of meetings. So she came home to a cobweb-free house, which was pretty cool. But now I'm just rambling on. Do you want your stick? Go get your stick. So yeah, there you go, folks. There's a little bit of an update on what we've been up to. Not a great deal, as you can see. I've just been busy behind the scenes doing other bits and pieces. We've got family stuff we needed to do, and we've finally unpacked the house. I think Bianca's got one box left with her screenplays in it and her stories that she needs to unpack, but we've finally sorted out the office and the downstairs living room behind us here. So there will be videos coming to the channel. We haven't totally dropped off. I've just been wanting Bianca to be here to do a video together. She's just been called away from work for work a lot, and she'll probably be away next weekend as well as this weekend. So very soon we will do another live with Bianca and myself, or maybe a video with her, because she does like hanging out with you folks on the live streams. Yeah, so I suppose I should probably stop rabbiting on, get this video uploaded and hook in to that little sand bed system and maybe a wicking barrel as well. I do hope you're all well and happy and you are enjoying these videos when they come, and we will catch you next clip. Cheers folks, take it easy.